Hey guys, it's Mandy. Welcome to my channel. I know that it's been forever and a day since I posted a video, and I wanted to make this video just to update you on why that has been. And then also I saw an interesting comment on Facebook and I thought I would throw that into this video as well and just talk about it because it is real estate related. So if you've watched very many of my videos before, then you probably know that my dad got sick a few years ago and I quit my job to come home and take care of him. I try not to mention it in every video, but it seems like it's just something that always comes up. That decision was just based on the fact that he needed full-time care and we needed somebody to take care of him, and it made more sense for me to come home and take care of him than for my mom to quit her job and take care of him, because my parents had both been veterinarians. They owned their own practice and they had employees that depended on them and they had clients that depended on them. But fast forward to now, and it's almost 4 years later, and my mom had the clinic listed for sale, but it never sold. And so at the beginning of this year in January, she and I talked about if it didn't sell by August, then she would just retire and close the doors. And so unfortunately that's what happened. We couldn't find another veterinarian to take over the clinic or to buy it. Either way, we live in a rural area, and so even though there's a huge need for a veterinarian and they would have all the business they would want, as of last week they locked the doors and walked away from the clinic. And my mom is home taking care of my dad, so I have moved in with my fiance. That is something that I didn't really think I would ever do. I definitely thought that we would get married before we moved in together, but we have been dating for 10 years, and I'm 26 and he's 25, and we have been planning to get married. It's just everything, my dad being sick, and then with the coronavirus, and he's actually in his very last year of medical school, so he has about 6 more months left of his last year. And when the coronavirus hit, it changed up all of our plans. He had certain rotations laid out where he was going to go, and then a lot of those hospitals are no longer taking students, so everything's just changed. And it's still even like last minute planning right now, trying to get in enough rotations for him to graduate, just because a lot of hospitals aren't taking students, and the ones that are, there's a lot of competition for those spots. So that's kind of what's been going on in my life. I just haven't really had a lot of time to film videos. I'll be honest, YouTube is not my top priority. I kind of put, my family and the rent houses and everything ahead of YouTube. It's just kind of something that I do for fun when I have extra time. And with the clinic closing, it was so busy, so my sister was home from college, so she was able to watch my dad, and then I was going to the clinic every day and helping them. They were just so busy with everybody trying to come in last minute and get all their vet care taken care of for like the next 3 years if they could. And so I just really didn't have a lot of time to film anything. And then moving here in with Dan at the apartment, the lighting is horrible. I really cannot figure out what to do about lighting, and I think you'll see in this video it's kind of dark, kind of shadowy. I'm not sure. There's just not a lot of good natural light, which is what I had at home. So I think I'm gonna have to buy a light or something, and then I'm still not even sure. I just can't really get the lighting that I would like to have. So that's also delayed me making videos. Okay, so let's talk about this post that I saw on Facebook. And there's a chance that you may have seen the post already. If you are a member of Graham Stephan's Facebook group, it's like the Real Estate Millionaire Mastermind, I think, and I will link it down below so you can find it. Okay, so the post that I saw said, "What would you do if you had a tenant that pays rent on time but is always $1 short?" And I saw the post and I was like, I mean, who cares? It's $1. Like, everybody's gonna say it doesn't really matter, it's $1. If it's a good tenant, then you know that that's more valuable than the $12 you're gonna lose in a year. And if you've ever had if you have ever had a bad tenant before, then you'll know that they cost you a lot more than $1 a month. So if it were me, I just really wouldn't even mention the $1 a month because it's $1, and in the long run, it's not really going to do anything for me. Whereas in the long run, having a good relationship with my tenant is going to be a lot more beneficial. However, that was not what everybody thought. Everybody had pretty different opinions. Some people said, we'll just charge them a $100 late fee and I guarantee you it'll never happen again. Some people said you should evict them. Some people said it's a power move and they're just trying to show that they're the ones in control. And a lot of people seem to have the mindset that if you give a little bit, then they'll just take and take and take and take more and more and more and more. And this month is $1, but next month it'll be $5, and they'll just keep taking advantage of you because you're a pushover and you're letting them. Let me read you one of the comments that was in favor of eviction. And this is what they said. Eviction notice. Don't really care if it's 1 cent. Where do you draw the line? $1, 5, 10? What if you have 100 units? $10 each is 1,000. Well, first of all, I think some things are besides the point because he doesn't have 100 units and they're not even $10 short. He has 1 unit that's $1 short. So that's completely different. Obviously, if you had 100 units shorting you $10, then you would want to address that situation. But we have 1 unit and they're short $1. And then that same poster, he went on to say, do you know Kasey Wong? Dude's a legend, and he evicted a tenant over 3 cents. Now, I do know Kasey Wong, and actually, if you don't know him, I recommend that you go watch some of his videos. I don't think he has his own channel. He may, but he's in a lot of videos. He's very successful. He has a lot of units, and even though I haven't watched his videos recently, I didn't even know about this 3 cent eviction thing. I used to watch his videos, or at least the videos that he's in. I don't know if he has his own channel or not. When I first took over my dad's rental properties, and I felt like I learned a lot from him. I thought he was very professional, very informative, and I really enjoyed watching him. Now, when I saw this, I was like, I don't know about that. That's crazy. I can't think of a situation in which it would be okay to evict someone over 3 cents. But on the flip side of that, I can't imagine being the tenant who let myself get evicted over 3 cents. The whole thing just seems ridiculous. And so I watched the video where Kasey talked about the eviction, and I understood his point. I thought he was very, he made sense, and it seemed to be very fair. To him, he has a ton of units, and so this is just a business transaction for him. Everything's automated. If you owe 1 penny, it doesn't matter, you owe a balance. So 1 penny to him is the same repercussions as owing $100. It's just the same thing. Those balance notices, balance due, and the eviction notices is all just automated and is sent out. And so they mailed out this notice to the tenant that they owed 3 cents, and the tenant didn't pay the 3 cents. So then I guess they mailed out an eviction notice, and seems like, no response. And so then the tenant got evicted. And so, kind of crazy. I don't know if maybe they just didn't get the mail. That's almost kind of what it sounded like to me from listening to him talk. And he did say that he learned from the situation, and now they do a follow-up call. So if the tenant owes money, they'll call them and just talk to them on the phone and let them know, hey, there's a balance due, which I think is really reasonable. I almost kind of feel like they should have done that in the beginning. And I'm hoping that maybe they didn't realize that it was just 3 cents. I don't know, but I don't know. Even though I understand his point, I just don't get evicting someone over 3 cents when you could go out in the parking lot and find 3 cents. But I do understand. I do understand that he just treats everything fair and it's just computerized, and I get that. But for me, I don't have an apartment complex. I have 16 single family homes. I know each one of my tenants on a friendly basis, a friendly acquaintance basis. It's not like we're best friends or anything, or, going over to each other's house for birthday parties and holidays. Not like that, but just I know, you know, where they work, I know their pets' names and that kind of stuff, just things you learn whenever you go over to their house and inspect for inspections or for maintenance reasons or anything like that. Just friendly things that you would learn in conversation. I know, you know, what hours they work, so what's the best time to call them and things like that. And I personally would never evict one of my tenants over $1. I think that it's way, 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 way more valuable to have a tenant who you have a good relationship with, that you both have mutual respect for each other. And for me, I wouldn't even bring up the fact that they're shorting me $1 on rent each month. I just think that it's going to give the tenant the impression that all you care about is the money. That just creates ill will between you and the tenant. In my opinion, it is so much more valuable to have a tenant that wants to take care of your property and wants to have a good relationship with you and respects you and thinks that you're a kind, nice person. Okay, and then real quick, before we end the video, I just want to say this, because I think it goes to show that a little bit of compassion and just treating your tenants like they're human, you know, after all, it's a human-to-human relationship. It's not a computer-to-human relationship. So this year, I have had a couple of payments that were late, but they both let me know ahead of time that it was going to be late, and they told me what day they would have it, and then they both paid it that day that they said they would. But right now, every single one of my tenants is caught up on rent. Nobody, I don't have any outstanding rent due. And I even have 2 tenants that have paid up ahead. One of those tenants is paid up into next year, and then another one is paid up several months. I didn't ask them to pay early. I didn't give them any discount to do so. They just did. And I have gotten 2 text messages from tenants telling me how thankful they are that I'm their landlord and how grateful they are that I take care of the property. And I've had another tenant tell me that he just thinks all the time about how lucky they are that I'm their landlord now. And I've had several different tenants tell me things like, one of my tenants, after she got married, she said, "We really want a bigger house, but we refuse to rent from anyone else. So if you get a bigger house, will you please let us know first?" And then another lady, she really doesn't like her neighbor. They don't get along, and she would like to be closer to town. And so she told me, you know, "I don't want to rent from anyone else. I love renting from you. So will you please let me know if you get something in town?" And so it's just, I don't know. I think treating your tenants like humans, and I'm not saying you have to let anybody walk on you or take advantage of you, but just being a kind and understanding person and having a little bit of empathy towards your tenants, I think it goes a long way. So let me know what you guys think, because I do understand it's a business. I understand there's concerns with discrimination and, you know, the law seeing everything as black and white, so that kind of forces you to see everything as black and white as well. But let me know what you think. I would be really interested to know if you guys think that $1 should get a late fee or even an eviction notice, or if you would just forget about it yourself. Anyway, bye guys.